Hello, good evening, everyone. It's me, Steffi, again from U Academy. Welcome to our English Live UTalks again. So tonight we have Mr. Sien with us as our special guest. But before I invite him out, I would like to have everyone who is watching right now to share this post out, to share this live out. Share it out. Sharing is caring, so everyone else can watch this. So tonight we'll be talking about leadership coaching. Lead the way. That's leadership. All right. All right. Thank you, Shirley, for putting up U Academy's number up on. So I hope everyone can hear me. So before that, right, I would love to have everyone keep sharing. Keep sharing. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute to share, and then only I will invite our special guest out. All right, he's also one of our mentors. Okay, his course is still on the way, not yet fully completed, but it will be out within this month. I think it will be out within this month. So he is specialized trainer in organization culture and leadership, and he is also an author of Every Employee and Entrepreneur. So anyone who is interested, you know where to get them. I think in all the in the popular bookstores you'll be able to get them as well. So he graduated with honors from Monash University, Melbourne, majored in computer science. Okay, so I think 1 minute is gone, so I'm gonna invite him out. Okay, let's welcome the leadership coach, Mr. Chok. Hi, Mr. Hiew.
Hello. Hi, Savi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. I'm good as you. If you're good, I'm good. Okay, so would you like to introduce yourself before we start?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Chok Sien. So I'm a leadership coach. My specialty is in organizing culture. Yeah. So what I believe in is that, and this is the core concept in my book, is that for any organization, if you want to achieve your results, if you want to achieve high performance, you need to make your employees think like entrepreneurs. Yeah. So you need to have in place a leadership team that can build the right culture for your organization in order to achieve high performance for your team. Yeah, so that's what I specialize in. Yeah, thanks, Effie.
All right. Okay. So why did you actually choose leadership coaching?
Okay. So leadership coaching, this is something that I did when I was in corporate. So I've been in quite a few different organizations. I've been in multinational companies. I've been in very small companies as well. So, and what I find is that in many businesses, a lot of people don't realize the importance of training people to become leaders. Yeah, so let me give an example. Yeah, so let's say you are a software development company. Yeah, so and you have a team of programmers, right? So now when you have a team of programmers, and let's say you decide, this team is getting big, I need to get someone to be the team leader, right? So now, quite instinctively, the boss will think, okay, this is the guy who is most senior, for example, or this is the guy who is the best programmer I have in the team. So okay, I'll make him the lead programmer, right? So and this is something that is very common. Yeah, we see it everywhere. But the blind spot that many organizations have is that your best programmer may not actually be a very good leader. Yeah, why is that? Because a very good programmer may not be a very good leader. Yeah? In fact, a very good programmer may be a leader that really sucks. Yeah, so that is the truth. Yeah, and okay, let's say this guy, he has good potential to become a leader and to lead a team, right? So, but we put him in a position to lead a team, but this guy, we know he's good at programming, but he has never led a team before. Yeah, he has never managed people before. Yeah, does he know how to handle conflicts between the team? Does he know how to motivate his team? Does he know how to communicate with his team? Yeah, if organizations, they don't even realize the need to train this person so that he can be an effective leader, then we end up with a lot of issues. So we have people put into leadership positions, but they are not equipped to lead effectively. And so I've seen this in many organizations. So I feel there is a need in the market to do this. So that's why although I've been an employee myself for many years, but I decided I want to dedicate my time, my energy to really help a lot of these people who are in leadership positions, so that they can lead better, make life better for them. And actually, it makes life better for the people they have to lead. And ultimately, when the team can perform, it is actually bringing results to the companies. So it is because of that, then I decided I want to get into leadership coaching.
Okay, so leadership is actually mainly about teamwork, right? I mean, like if you need a good team, you will need a really good leadership, right?
Teamwork is part of leadership. A good leader can build a good teamwork. Right? But the teamwork is only one aspect of leadership. So a leader needs to be able to know his team well. And because within a team, especially when we have people from different departments. So for example, I used to lead a team where we have people from marketing. So these people, the way they think is they think about artwork, how to reach out to people and so on. But we also have people who is doing design, game design, right? And we also have people who's doing programming. So the programmers, the way they think is a bit more, okay, I just need to translate this into programming code. So you just tell me what you want, I'll do it, right? So when you have a very diverse team, you need a good leader to be able to link these people up, to understand the different behaviors of these people, so that you can manage them, get them to work together. But that's one part. There are a lot of other things related to leadership. For example, a leader needs to know how to make the right decisions, right? So if I can get my team to work together well, so I can resolve the conflicts, make sure the teams understand one another, they can work together well. But if I don't give them the right direction, then the whole team may be moving in the wrong direction. We end up wasting everybody's time, not achieving the results we set out to achieve. So teamwork. So you're right. Teamwork is one aspect, but there are many more aspects to leadership.
So leadership actually, leaders have very very high responsible for their teams, right? So like they eventually they will really need to know how to actually like coach their team somehow. Is it?
Yes, that's right. So for a leader, ultimately, a good leader eventually will be able to coach his or her team, so that then they will in turn become leaders. So in an organization, if let's say I am a leader, I'm leading a small team of 5 people, right? So I may be able to lead very well, my team can work well, but as an organization, if we want to grow, then I actually need to groom my 5 people. I need to make them leaders too, so that then they later on they can lead their own teams as well. So that's how the business can grow. So, and of course, it's very normal in any organization. Sometimes people will leave, and we have new recruits. So developing other people to become leaders, it is an ongoing thing. So as a leader who is accomplished, maybe as a new leader, I still need to learn how to manage my team, how to manage people, how to motivate my team. But once I get those done, then the next level for a leader is actually to be able to coach others to be leaders as well.
Yes, yes, that's right. See you guys. Now we're talking about leadership coaching. So those of you who are actually a leader in your maybe your properties or maybe an insurance wise, if you're a leader, you should be watching this. So those of you who think that your friends should be watching this, remember to share this out, all right? Because we have Mr. Hiew Chok Sien here sharing all about leadership coaching right now, all right? So Mr. Hiew, if I'd like to ask, how long have you been expertise under this field?
So I have been in my past work before I became a coach. I've been doing project management for about 20 years. So I did project management. I did also program management. Now, program management is basically managing a group or a family of related projects. And so now, as a project manager, so that is one type of leadership. Now, projects typically are very short-term things, right? So, for example, this project maybe is going to run for half a year or 1 year. Longer projects can be 2 or 3 years. So when a project is formed, this group of people, they may be from different backgrounds, from different teams. Some of them may be just contractors. Yeah, so as a project manager, then I have to be able to lead very diverse teams who may not have worked together with one another. Yeah.
Ah,
And we need to get them to work together to achieve the goal of the project. Now, projects, they have very tight timelines. Yeah, usually the reason we run a project is because the company wants to get something important done within a certain time. That's why they set up a project, get the specialists in to work on this so that it can be done fast, it can be done right. Yeah. That's the one part of the leadership I've done. So this is something I've done for about 20 years. Yeah, so then later on, after I move on from project management to leading organizations, yeah, so that's when I was the COO of a small company, of the game company, when I was a country manager. So now that is a different type of leadership, yeah, because that's no longer project specific. So it has different challenges. Yeah. So as an organization leader, then we will be looking at the profitability of the company. Yeah, we need to look at the sustainability of the company. We need to look at the growth of the company. Yeah, so it's almost an opposite view. Projects is very short term. Yeah, I need to get this done. I need to be very focused. Yeah, but as an organization, then we are looking long term, right? So how do we make sure, as a company, we are giving the return on investment to our shareholders? Yeah, and when we manage our team, yeah, how do we make sure we have a career path for our employees so that they continue to grow, they continue to stay with the company? Yeah, we need to plan for the long-term growth of the company, and how does the company remain relevant in the market, right? So those are very different qualities needed for a leader of an organization.
seems pretty much complicated. All right, I see a lot of questions coming in for you, Mr. Hiew. So I'll give you one of them. Okay, it
Yeah,
says here, Mr. Choksin, what values are most important to you as a leader?
that's a very good question from Shirley. Yeah, thank you, Shirley.
Yes.
Now, for leadership, I think maybe we need to talk a little bit about how do you define leadership. If we read the books of John Maxwell, leadership comes down to just one thing: influence. Yeah, being a good leader means you are able to influence other people. Yeah, let's say I'm a leader of a company, right? Let's say I'm the CEO of a company. Then I need to, as a CEO, I have a vision for the company. Yes, there is we have a mission that we are trying to achieve, right? So as a leader, then how do I get my people? Let's say I'm running a company with 100 people. How do you get 100 people to be rowing a boat in the same direction? Yeah. So how do you influence people, yeah, to be able to work towards the same direction? So
I think that's
if
the
you ask me,
hardest thing to do, right?
yes, when you
It's the
have
hardest
100
thing.
people, 100 people have different agendas, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So some people come to work. I just want the salary. You pay me the salary. I work 8 hours per day. That's it. Full stop. Yeah. Some people come here. I come here to learn something. So 100 people, you may have 100 different goals, right? So if you ask me as a leader, the most important quality is you really need to understand people. Yeah, you really need to understand people, because your job is to influence people. Your job is to inspire people. Your job is to communicate to people. Yeah, so if you don't understand people, right, or if you are not willing to understand people, now there are leaders. It's not that they are not smart. It's not that they are not capable, but they don't spend the effort to understand people, or they don't think it is important to understand people. Yeah. So to them, it is, I employ you, so you work for me. You do the job I tell you to do. That's it. Full stop. Right. So there are leaders who it's kind of like a conscious decision. They don't spend the effort on that. Yeah. So if they don't spend the effort on that, then they're not going to get the best performance out of their teams. Yeah. So a leader, one of the number one qualities is you need to understand people, yeah, so that you can manage people. Yeah, you can inspire them, you can motivate them.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So I hope that answered to your question, Shirley. And another question as well from Shirley. Okay. Can you tell me about a time when you demonstrated leadership skills and the ability to delegate responsibilities efficiently at work? Wow. Wow. The question.
Okay, that's a challenging question. Now,
Wow.
demonstrating leadership skills, it's a very wide question because there are so many things are related to leadership. But sorry, can I see the second part of the
Oh, yeah.
question?
Yeah. 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 Sure.
Yeah, so delegating responsibilities efficiently at work. So I think I can use this as an example of leadership because indeed, as a leader, you need to be able to delegate. Otherwise, then you are just doing everything yourself. Your company can't grow. Yeah. Now, one of the challenges I did have was delegating work. Now, why is that? Because when we work, let's say we are, for example, let's say I'm a graphic designer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I work as a graphic designer. I work for a few years in it, so I'm very good at it. Yeah. So I know if I get a certain job, then I have some ideas how I should do this. I know how to do it well. Now, let's say I get promoted to become a team lead, and now I have four graphic artists reporting to me. So when I get a job, I will have some idea. This is how I should do it, right? So but the thing is, I know I'm not one person doing everything, so I need to give these jobs to other people to do. Okay, the most difficult thing for especially for new leaders is learning to let go. Yeah, so if I were a graphic designer, okay, I get 5 pieces of work. So maybe I will do one smaller piece. Yeah. And then the 4 bigger piece I need to give to my team to do. Yeah. The hardest thing for me would be when they are working, I cannot resist standing behind them and looking at how they work. Right. So that is the one very big challenge. Now, and let's say in this example of a graphic artist. Now, art can be something very, very subjective. Right? So if my team designs this poster in a certain way, I might feel very uncomfortable. Because I would do it a different way. Yeah. For example, I would use blue. I wouldn't use green,
Mm-hmm.
but he has used green. And so then the challenge is, how do I step back? Yeah. Instead of having my own style, my own preference, and evaluating my team's work based on my personal preference, how can I step back and really evaluate other people's work, yeah, based on a more neutral position, yeah, a more objective position. For example, I need to ask them, hey, you have done this design this way. Can you explain what is your thinking behind that? Yeah, so a lot of times we need to learn to let go, right? So even if a piece of work is done, yeah, let's say it's not a graphic design, not a poster. For example, we are working on a proposal which we're going to give to a client. Yeah, for something like this, yeah, usually if I'm the leader, I would really be very careful about this because this is about going to a client, and then it may determine whether we win the project or not, right? Yeah, so I
Yeah.
may be very particular. Yeah, so but still, even in this kind of situation, we need to learn to let go. So and we ask our team, yeah, so what is your thinking behind this? Yeah. So then when they're able to explain, okay, if we sometimes we may disagree, and then we will say, I would like to change this to this way because of reason 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Sometimes because I'm the one who has more experience, then I can explain to them this is why I am requesting you to change this. Yeah. So in terms of delegating responsibilities, one of the key things is we ourselves need to learn to let go. Yeah, so that and when we do that, we also help our team build the confidence. Yeah, learning to let go, is about developing our team. When we let them when we let them make some decisions, right? So and then of course they may make the wrong decisions. So sometimes we need to step in and correct them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and when we correct them, we will explain to them why. Yeah, yeah. We don't say no, this is wrong. Do it this way. Full stop. Yeah. If we do it that way, they will never learn, right? But as we let them make more and more decisions, they will gain confidence. Even if they make mistakes, we coach them, we guide them, they will learn. So the
Yes.
next time when they come to a similar situation, they know what is the right decision. Yeah, they know how we run things. They know what are the priorities of the company. So as we build them up, then they will actually be able to do more and more of what we do. And then we as leaders, we move on to do other even more important tasks. Yeah, so about delegating responsibilities, the first thing we need to learn to do is to let go. Yeah, so Shirley, I hope that addresses your question. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Shirley, for the question. I think it's really kind of it's hard for someone to to accept like what others do, what others decide somehow. Like if like especially when you're a leader, like I find it sometimes I find it annoying when someone actually demands you to do something, and then when they ask you to do it, they don't even guide you to it, and then they ask you to do it. Then when you do it, and then they'll be like, this is not what I want, this is not what I asked for. And then you're like, you didn't guide. I asked you how
Yeah.
I should be doing it, but you didn't even guide me, so how am I going to do it right? It's kind of it's why are there always like people like this, like what you said, right? They have to let go, they have to accept, but some they just cannot do this.
Yes, I have encountered exactly this type of leader that you mentioned. Yeah. So when they assign the task, they say, I want you to do it this way. And sometimes it's just very generic, right? Very generic. They don't communicate what they are trying to achieve very well. Then, so they will ask the staff to do then the staff, let's say they spend 1 week doing that piece of work. And then when the staff brings that piece of work to the team manager, for example, the team manager say, no, this is not what I want. Then you
Yeah,
have just wasted 1 week. You wasted your team members 1 week of time, right? So if only by that
exactly.
time you explain, oh, I don't want this, I want this, then okay, then you wasted 1 week. So now the guy is doing it all over again, and then the guy is probably going to be quite demotivated, right? So it is
Yes.
actually very important to be able to explain what you need upfront. Yeah. And it's also very important, if you decide that piece of work is really not up to par, you have to explain why. Right. So because when you are able to explain why, then they learn. Yeah. If you just say, I don't like this, then this is very subjective. Then your team is just going to be very upset. They don't really know what you want. They are not learning anything from it. So the next time they do a piece of work, they are still going to do it based on their understanding, because they
Yeah,
don't really know what you want, right? So
because
so
you
it
never,
is very
never
frustrating.
explain to them in details, give them details and all. You just tell them, I want this to be done by maybe end of this week. And then when you let them, when we show it, and then they'll be like, no, this is not what I want, this is not what I asked for. And then you'll be like, oh, what am I going to do then? Can you guide me? Like, you should be thinking yourself, not me. I hired you for this, not I didn't hire you to ask me questions how to complete something. They
Yeah.
always like, because I encountered this before, long time ago. So yeah, I was like wondering, why am I doing this for you when I don't even know what you want?
Yeah. And this is exactly why I find that there are in a lot of companies, there is a lack of leadership skills, right? So now, and that the situation you described just now, for leaders, if they just spend a little bit more time upfront to describe what they need, they are
Mhm.
going to save that 1 week of time, right? And there are many leaders, they have this habit of saying this, I'm not going to say it twice. Pay attention, right? So they are not even willing to invest, let's say, 10 minutes to just explain the task a bit more. But when you don't even spend that 10 minutes more, you end up wasting your team members 1 whole week. And then
Yes,
you
exactly.
get frustrated at the end of the week when they show you something which is not what you want. Your team member gets frustrated. Everybody gets frustrated just because you're not willing to spend 10 minutes to explain more clearly, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was this one time a long time ago as well, when they said like we are going to have a meeting about this project and all. And then when they ask you questions or like how you're gonna do it, give some ideas, this and that. And then when we give the ideas, right, the leaders are like, no, this is not a good idea, this is not what I want, no, this won't work, and then this won't work. And then like, okay, everyone, it's already round table, everyone gave their ideas, and you're not happy about it, why don't you give us some ideas? It's like, if you really know what to do, right, you should be giving us, like, telling us what to do instead of us giving ideas, but you're not even accepting the ideas. So it's
Mm.
really frustrating. This is, I mean, like, leaders are not supposed to be like this somehow.
Yeah, it's true. And I imagine myself if I'm in that room. Yeah, if I'm in that room, I have let's say 10 team members giving different suggestions. Let's say I don't like any of them. Yeah, let's say I think they are stupid ideas, right? And let's say at the time I don't have any idea myself as well. So how, as a leader, how I would handle this, right? So when they propose, now one thing that leaders need to do is they need to know that they have to respect their team. Yeah? So now even if all 10, let's say in my heart, I think all 10 ideas just really suck. Yeah. But I, as a leader, I need to be in that room to explain to them so why I think this doesn't work. Now, this doesn't work. I would say, maybe I don't even want to say I think this doesn't work. I will just ask them, okay, this is an interesting suggestion. Have you considered this angle? Yeah, or have you considered that risk? Right. So when I present this as a question back to them, then my team member will actually, they will think for themselves. Oh yeah, now I realize my boss has just explained to me, has just taught me something new. That, oh, this is why this doesn't work. I've learned something, right? As opposed to, if as a leader, if you go into a room, you don't give face to your team. Yeah, you just shoot them down and say this doesn't work. It's not going to be, you are not going to be a leader that they will respect either, right? Yeah. But if you are there, if you just change the way you communicate, yeah, that's why communication is a very important skill for leaders. You just change the way you communicate a little bit, then your team will actually love you. Yeah, because they are seeing, hey, I know I screw up because I didn't think of this, but my leader is very patient with me. Instead of scolding me, he is teaching me. Right? Yes. So for me as a team member, if I work with a leader who is willing to teach me, yeah, and who doesn't get angry when I make mistakes, but who encourages me, then I am much more willing to give my best at this job. Now, so just thank you just now, Steffi. That was actually a very good example we can use to illustrate leadership.
Yeah, because that's how I stopped giving ideas back in my previous company. I'm like,
Exactly.
you're not accepting anything. Everything I say, you're just saying, no, it's not gonna work. No, you should be doing it again. Think again. This and that. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stop. Give me the ideas instead. Yeah. Okay, I have Shelley has another question again, a longer
Yeah.
one. When interviewing candidates, what are essential leadership skills do you think an employer should be looking for? For example, leadership skills like activity and good negotiation skills.
Okay. Well, this is also a very complex question. Yeah.
I think she has a lot of this type of
that's actually very good. Yeah, that's actually very good. And this is also a very good question. Now, interviewing candidates. Yeah. There is no simple answer for this question because it depends a lot on what position you are interviewing for. Okay, now based on this question, I will assume you are interviewing a person for a leadership position. Now, when you are interviewing somebody for a leadership position, the first thing you need to ask is actually, what do you lack in your organization now? Yeah. So, for example, let's say let's say in the current company now, the retention rate is very poor. So that means people are quitting. People are very unhappy with the work, right? So then you need to find a leader who can help you change that culture. Yeah. If you have very poor staff retention, there must be a reason. Yeah. So you need somebody who can help you address that reason. Now, if let's say you are the boss, right? Let's say surely you are the CEO of the company, yeah, and you have this problem, and sometimes it might be something that you yourself also cannot see, right? So if you want to get somebody to help you solve your problem, yeah, you need to get someone, either he has experience with this kind of situation, yeah, or when you assess his skill, yeah, you think he is a person who can help you solve that problem. Okay, now passion, I wouldn't really call passion itself as a leadership skill. Now, passion is something that we want in our staff, yeah? Because if we get staff who are passionate, then they are more committed to their job. Yeah, they are motivated, and they want to give the best results. Yeah, so a leader's skills should be being able to motivate staff to become passionate about the job. Yeah, so passionate itself, I wouldn't really consider that a leadership skill, but let's say you are interviewing a person, you want to understand whether he is a leader who can inspire passion in staff. Then you need to ask questions. For example, have you managed a team in the past where you are going through a very difficult project, but you are able to encourage your team and inspire them to work together to complete that very difficult project? Yeah, so something like this. Yeah, if you want to test that person for whether he is a person that can inspire passion. Yeah, so that's the kind of questions you have to ask. Yeah, so for example, the example you've given here, Shirley, flexibility, creativity, negotiation skills. Now, negotiation skills, I would consider that as a very critical leadership skill. Yeah, when you are a leader, for example, when I was a project manager, I need to deal with a lot of people. Some are my project team members, so they kind of report to me, so I kind of can control them because I'm their boss, right? But there are some team members who are just part-time. They don't directly report to me. They have other bosses. Yeah? So then it becomes harder to manage them because I don't write their performance appraisal for them, right? So I have dependency on them so that they do their task, right? And there are some parties who are not even part of the project. They are just an external team who needs to approve some of the work that we do, right? So when you as a leader, when you have to manage so many different people and not all of them report to you, you need to be able to negotiate with them well. Yeah, so because for people who are outside of your immediate team, when you need them to do something for you, you need to make sure you are able to give them something in return, right? So even something as a recognition, right? For example, hey, help me do this. Yeah, so then I will really appreciate it. Yeah, and then after the project, you go to this person's boss and say, hey, your team, this guy Martin, he really helped me a lot in this project. Yeah, so you really should give him a promotion, something like that. Yeah. Right? So as a leader, you also want to help others. So when you are doing negotiation, you try to give as well. Yeah, it's not just about taking from others. You want to give as well. Yeah, so negotiation skills, this is a leadership skill. Yeah, but flexibility, creativity, these are skills I would say any employee, we want them to have these kind of skills. Yeah, so okay, I'm going a little bit off track. Yeah, so
no, I also have something to talk about for this one, right? I mean, like, there may be some people that are like, you're not my boss. Like, okay, maybe they're in different departments, right? Right, the main boss, and then there's HR and others departments, and then they'll be like, maybe one of the HR department leaders ask them to do something, like ask you to do something, and then they'll be answering back like, you're not my boss. I don't listen to you. I don't take orders from you. I take orders from my current boss, my current leader. So if you have anything, you just talk to them. Like, some employees are like that. Like, they'll be so rude. They don't want to listen to you just because you're not their boss. They like, I only have one boss, and I'm just gonna listen to them. You're nobody to me. How do you actually how can other people control this situation?
There are two ways of handling it. Yeah, one way I would say is kind of the more straightforward way, is you talk to the boss lah, right? So if you can talk to the boss, then the boss will pressure the subordinate, and then the subordinate will be obedient and do the work. But of course, then you need to have that relationship with the boss. You need to explain to the boss so why you need, let's say, her staff to do this for your project, right? So, and if the other person agrees, then and see the value in doing this, of course, he or she is happy to help lah. And so that's one way. Yeah, but that way, you might kind of damage the relationship with that person who is actually working for you lah. Yeah, because you're going through his or her boss and then pressuring her that way. Yeah. So that's that may not be very good lah. but it depends on how you play the game, right? So I mean, if you talk to the boss and says, hey, I need help, right, to do this, and your team member, he's actually very good at this, I think he will help me a lot, right? So now if that boss, that, let's say the department head, yeah, HR head, also sees that perspective and agrees this is something valuable, and he is willing to get this person to help my project, for example, then we talk about this in a very positive way, yeah, doing something that's valuable, then of course then there's not so much issue. But if we go the other way just to exert pressure, then it may have negative results. That's one way.
I
So
see.
now, yeah, the other way is, of course, you can also talk to that person, right? So if you talk to the person and says, hey, I know maybe you are in a difficult position because your boss also asks you to do things, but me as an outsider for this project, I also need your help. Yeah. So is there some way I can help you? For example, maybe will it help if I talk to your boss and try to ask your boss to allocate more time and not give you too much other work? Yeah, so that's one. So that's one way. So when you talk directly with the person, sometimes you can build a better working relationship because you need his or her help. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you also appreciate his or her help, but you're trying to work together with him or her. You're trying to help him or help her. Yeah, so that is also easier for her. Yeah, because we show that we also appreciate that they are kind of stuck in the middle because they have kind of two bosses asking them to do things. Right, it's also difficult for them. So we have to appreciate that. And so there are two ways to approach this.
Okay, thank you. Because I used to have that kind of situations when I'm actually, my other colleague told me to, um you can actually ask my members to help you if you need them. And then when I actually did, then they'd be like, no, I don't want to do anything for you because you're not my boss. If you have anything, just talk to my boss. And then when I said that I already talked to your leader about this, and then they'll be like, let them talk to me themselves, not you telling me what to do. I don't work for you. So yeah, that got me thinking, like, okay, maybe I should, have them sit together and talk about this, maybe.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, and another difficult question for you, Mr. Hugh, a longer one this time.
Okay.
Yep, here you go. So, which do you think is the most important quality for the best leaders in one of the most ubiquitous aphorism? Oh my God, in business, the need to walk the talk or the need for leaders to talk the walk? As I believe the only sustainable form of business leadership is thought leadership, and leaders that think differently about their business invariably talk about it differently as well. Am I right?
Uh, if you ask me, walking the talk is always most important. Yeah. Now, of course, a leader must be able to communicate very well, and leaders have to spend conscious effort to communicate. Yeah. If we want the organization to have certain values, you have to think in a certain way. We have to keep repeating that message, repeating. Yeah. Um, and so that's the importance of communication. Yeah, but and why I say walking the talk is more important, in my opinion, is because you can talk however well, yeah, but when your people look at you and they see you doing something which is contrary to what you say, whatever you say is meaningless. Yeah, so you have to say it well, but if you only say it but you don't believe it and you are not doing it, then it's a waste of time, and in fact it may make things worse, right? So I mean, if you don't say it, you also don't do it, they will see you as, okay, he's not that kind of person. If you say it and you don't do it, people see you as a liar, right? So people see you as a leader who is not sincere. You would say, for example, you say, yes, in this organization, we really treasure our employees, for example. Okay. But 1 year when the company is making profit has doubled, right? But the bonus given is exactly the same as last year, right? Then that doesn't make sense, right? So if you truly appreciate your employees, when the company is making double the profits, you're not giving anything else, anything extra to your employees, then something is wrong, right? So that means you're not walking the talk. So to me, walking the doing, action is always louder than words. Yeah, so you
Yes.
must communicate, but you must also really demonstrate that you don't only say you believe in the values and you take action.
So you as a leader, you have to say what it needs to be done and do what needs to be done in order to for your employees to trust you and look up to you, something like that, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so I hope
Yeah,
that
thank you,
answers to
Shirley,
your
for the good
question as well,
question.
Shirley. Her questions are so difficult that I can't even read it out myself. Oh my god. But it was a really good question. I mean, I get to learn a lot as well from you. So yeah, it's okay. She still has another question. Still has another
Okay,
question.
let's go ahead.
Here you go. A good reader makes a good leader. I believe Mr. Hugh set a good example as we can see a beautiful bookshelf with all the books behind him. Could Mr. Hugh please recommend the best leadership book which every leader must read? Wow. Okay.
Well, one thing is I would like to recommend my book. Okay,
Of
this is my
course,
book.
his own book. Yes.
Every employee and entrepreneur. So the idea behind this book, you can find it at MPH. You can go to Shopee and Lazada to find it as well. Now the core idea behind this book is that if we want to get the best performance out of our teams, we need to make them think like entrepreneurs. Yeah, so for when they think like entrepreneurs, then they are really committed to the cause of the company. Yeah, they believe in the values of the company, and then when their personal values are aligned with the company's values, that's when they are really motivated to do their best. They want to achieve results for themselves. They want to achieve results for the company. Okay, but okay, on a more serious note, so what are the good leadership books? John Maxwell's books. He has written many books, and many of them are very good. So I enjoyed reading John Maxwell's books.
Okay, John Maxwell, you heard that, Shirley. So you may look for it if you are a leader yourself. I believe you are a leader yourself because you've been asking so many questions about leaderships to Mr. Hugh. which is good too, because I think it's really nice to have interactions with the audiences as well, right? Okay, is there
Oh,
anything like
one
special?
more book. Sorry,
One
Steffi.
book,
One
yes,
more
yes,
book I
sure.
want to recommend is the $1 Trillion Coach. $1 Trillion Coach.
Trillion Dollar Coach.
Yeah, it's one of the writers is actually the co-founder of Google. Yeah, so that's a good one.
Ah,
$1 Trillion Coach. So that's a good one.
okay, okay.
I really enjoyed that one as well.
I heard of that before because one of my friend eventually had a book sharing about Trillion Dollar Coach. I think he's watching. Aaron, he should be somewhere here because he had been reading about that for the past weeks already, and he had been sharing a lot about this as well. So yeah, I think I have to go read that book as well for myself. So the what courses of leadership do you actually provide?
So the main course which I teach is about developing entrepreneurial employees. Yeah, so that ties in with my book, the
Mm-hmm.
core idea in my book. So that's the one which soon will be made available on U Academy. Now I also do training on myself. Yeah, so of course at U Academy it's an e-learning course. I also conduct face-to-face training or online training. Yeah.
Ah, okay, that's nice. Okay, I have finally a new question from someone new, from Josh. Most leadership is personal skills. Mr. Hugh, may I ask how to make it duplicatable?
Okay, personal duplicatable is you do this by really coaching others. Yeah, so let's say Josh, you are now a very accomplished leader, right? So you can manage large teams. You know how to inspire your team, how to motivate them, how to get them to work together. Yeah, but as a business, let's say you want to grow bigger, right? So as you grow bigger, you need to employ more people. Then you need to be able to coach your immediate reports so that then they themselves they can go out and lead other teams. So to duplicate that is you need to give them opportunities to lead, Yeah? Give them space to try their own styles. Yeah, because the people you lead, when it is their turn to lead others, they may not have the exact same style as you do, right? So you need to give them a space to lead, and sometimes you may not want to duplicate exactly your own style in other people, yeah, because that may not fit their personalities, right? So now, for people who report to you, if they work very well with you, they will learn from your style, yeah, because that's what works, right? That works, and they will learn from it. Yeah. So if you want to duplicate that, it is very much about really spending time to coach and to mentor the people who work for you. Yeah. Yeah, Josh, I hope that answers your question. Otherwise, do add on. So I hope to be able to address your question.
Okay. He said this is exactly what he is doing. Allow them to make mistakes.
Yes. Yeah, that's
And
good.
there's another one from wait Dao Li. He asked, which is more efficient leadership, task oriented or people oriented?
In leadership, ultimately, it is about being people oriented. Yeah? In any organization, we in the organization is just people coming together. Yeah, so you want to get the best performance out of this. It is still about managing people. Now, doesn't mean being task oriented is bad. Yeah, a lot of times when we have, let's say we're working on a project, and then it's a very difficult one. We have deadlines coming up, and we are behind schedule, and so on. Sometimes we do have to be very task oriented so that we can get things completed, right? So there are times we need to be task oriented. So, but being task oriented is more about getting things done. Yeah, sometimes you just need to focus and get things done. But as an organization, yeah, so in the long run, you still have to be people oriented, right? So in my past experience, I have been working on project basis. I have been also working in organizational leader positions. So in a way, you can say project management kind of leadership is a bit task oriented, right? Because we are only focused on getting this project done, right? As opposed to in an organization, then you really have to manage your people and look at longer term. Yeah, but even in project management, it is still very much about people. You still need to handle a lot of very different people. They may have different agendas, they have different backgrounds, they maybe report to different bosses. So there is still an important aspect of being people oriented.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope that answers your question as well,
Thank you,
Dao Li.
Dao, for your question.
And then the next questions from Philip Leong. What qualities are lacking among today's leaders?
One type of very typical leaders that I see is um, many leaders believe they know it all. Yeah. And why is that? And it's actually not difficult to understand, because for, let's say, the CEO of a company, right? If that person, let's say he's a founder of a company, yeah, if that person has survived 20 years as a business and the business is still doing well, then of course he or she must be doing something right. Yeah? And when you have been right for 20 years, you think you know everything, right? So now there are many, and let's say it's not even a founder of a business. Let's say this is just a leader who has risen up the ranks. Yeah, so this is just an employee, right? Has risen up the ranks into a very senior position. So these leaders will think, yes, I must be doing something right, because now, for example, I am the director of the company, right? So when leaders have this kind of mindset, then they will be closed to learning. They will be closed to suggestions from other people, right? Because they always think that they are right, right? But
Yes.
now our world now is changing so fast, right? What we know to be truth even 10 years ago, today may not be valid anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And something that if leaders, if as leaders, if we don't have that open mind to listen, and also to really explore ideas, then we might find that we will become stagnant at one place. Yeah, when we are stagnant, then we are starting to fall behind. Yeah, our competitors, maybe they are already exploring new ideas, they are moving ahead. Yeah, while we still live in a world which we built in our minds 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And so one of the qualities lacking in leaders nowadays is just that they can become very very blindsided. Yeah, they have built a certain image in their mind. Yeah, this is what a good leader is like. Yeah, so I'm like this, I'm happy with this, so the rest of the organization should listen to me. Yeah, so this is one of
Yeah,
the problems
I
that I
encountered that before as well. Like, the leader would be like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm telling you to do. So just follow what I'm doing and blah blah blah. Don't tell me any other, this might happen, that might happen, blah blah blah. I mean, like, I'm doing this more than you, so you should be listening to me, not giving me ideas, giving me suggestions, this and like that. So like it'll be like, okay, then I'm just gonna keep quiet from now on. So when something bad happens, right, then he'll be blaming us, and he's like, see, why didn't you tell me that this was gonna happen and blah blah blah. I'm like, I told you so, but you never listen. That kind of
yeah.
things always happen. There are still leaders like this. I still see leaders like this somehow. Like, I told you, I like, why didn't you tell me earlier? Then you can't even say, I told you so. I see one last question from Shirley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Hugh, last but not least, how to measure leadership effectiveness? If an entrepreneur was concerned with their leadership effectiveness by the numbers, where would they start? Are there any key performance indicators or metrics that would give a clue as to efficacy? Would there be a way to use that information to make leadership more effective? Why is it like more than one question, Shirley?
Okay, I think the key question around here is how do you quantify effective leadership, right? Now, if I really want to quantify effective leadership, the best thing is the profitability of the company, right? Ultimately, whether my company is making more money this year than last year, that's a very simple way to measure the effectiveness of the leader of this company. Yeah, so that's one way. Yeah, of course, sometimes we may say, yeah, but because we had MCO ma, we had COVID ma, right? So you cannot blame the leader, right? Sometimes we may think that way, right? But that is not always. We cannot always use external factors or factors we can't control as an excuse. Yeah, sometimes I find that as an excuse, because let's say I owned this company, right? So I can use this as an excuse, say, oh, because of COVID, so it doesn't work. But
Mm-hmm.
if I just use this as an excuse, then the truth is my company is going bankrupt. I need to close the company, right? So there's no point giving this as whether you want to call it a reason or justification or an excuse. There's no point, right? When the company it has to fold, there's no point, right? So really, if we are a for-profit business, then your profitability is your best measure, and it's the most practical measure. Okay. Now, okay, let's say if this seems to be maybe a bit far, because there are still, of course, there are factors that if you want to be fair to the leader, okay, you want to consider those. There are still other ways you want to measure how well the leader is doing. Yeah. So for example, let's say you recruited this person to be a HR head, right? So then, and you recruit this person because you want to manage the retention issue you have in your company. Then you measure that by retention, right? So retention, there is a standard formula people already use, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in in 1 year, yeah. So how many percent of your people have left the organization? That's a number you can easily quantify. Yeah, that's one. Now, then let's say if you find that your company has very, very poor staff morale, what I used to do was then every half a year, I do an anonymous employee satisfaction survey. Now, so of course, you need to learn to design your survey very well so that you really get truthful answers and useful answers. right? So then that is one way for you to quantify whether is your HR leader doing a good job or not, right? So those are ways that you can quantify. There are many ways to quantify. So it is certainly possible to quantify the results, whether this leader has shown results or not. Yeah, yeah, and
I see.
and what Shirley has said is very true. We should always try to find a way to measure. Yeah, because it's very if it's very abstract, you just say, yeah, our staff are happier. That is not useful at all. How do you justify that? Yeah, you still need to find some way to measure it. Yeah, so thank you, Shirley, for that question.
Thank you, Shelley, for the question. So I think this is really important. I mean, like, if you actually know how the employees feel, right? How they feel about their leaders and all, then I don't think there will be a lot of people leaving the company because of the leaders. I mean, like previously, I see a lot of salesmen, especially because it was actually a hardware company, right? And then like all the salesmen, they left because of their leaders. The leaders are like they're not guiding them well, not teaching them. They're just like putting blames on them, especially. So like in the end, when they ask why you want to resign, this and that, they'll be like, because the leader, main problem is always the leader. It's like, they're not teaching us anything, they're just blaming us, and then they just want the sales to boost up, but then we're not, we don't know anything, we don't know how it should be done, then they
Mm.
never guide us. So that's the problem there. Then that was like, okay, leadership is really really important. That's why I started as well to learn more about leadership, so then I know how to guide my people. So now I also know how to guide my own people, which is a good thing. So thank you so much, Mr. Hugh, for your sharing tonight. And do you have anything to conclude for tonight?
So I would like to say that for any organizations, it does take a conscious effort to be aware of the gaps in leadership. Yeah, so I would encourage everyone, yeah, when if you are in an organization that you have team leads, you have managers, do make sure you give them those the training, yeah, encourage them to learn to be effective leaders, because that is what will help them in their job. Yeah, you will make them happier at their jobs as leaders, and then you also make the rest of the teams more effective. Yeah, a lot of people, when they get promoted to be a leader manager, sometimes they feel very uncomfortable because it's not something that they like to do. Some people actually tell me, I don't want to manage people. Yeah, I would just rather be a junior. I just take a lower salary. Don't make me a team lead. There are people who tell me that. Yeah. Yeah. And why? Because it is a skill they don't have yet. Yeah. So they feel so uncomfortable about doing that. Right. But if we can equip them with the tools, yeah, we can give them that confidence that they can do this. Right.
Yes.
It's actually going to give them more job satisfaction. They can achieve more. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not just about monetary rewards. They get more out of their career. Yeah. It is actually enriching their lives as well. Yeah, so this is something I would encourage everyone in organizations to really think about that and really you make life better and work for your people.
And easier as well.
Yeah.
Are there board games that teaches leadership? The Dowd Lee just asked this. Which board game teaches leaderships?
Yeah. I think he has seen some of the games in my background. Yeah. they,
Ah, okay.
they, I actually do not know of any specific board games that specifically teaches leadership. So I don't think there is any. Yeah. So that's a good idea. Maybe I should think of designing one myself.
Yeah, you should. Maybe you should. I mean, like, maybe it will go viral and all. It will be a good game for those who have teams and all.
Yeah.
All right, then. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Hugh. Really, really grateful. I learned a lot from you tonight. So I think yes, I will be, and I hope I will be a better leader in the future. Thank you so much for sharing.
All
And
right. Thank you very much for having me.
all right, thank you so much. with us for watching this UTalks. I hope you guys actually got something from Mr. Hiew, Chok, Sien, and me myself. Of course, I learned something from him as well, and it was really good. All right, so thank you so much for staying and watching with us. And remember that we are also a coaching platform here. So if you need anything, if you think that if you are a leader, especially, ask your members to come on over to U Academy and join us for our coaching 21, because it's really a good self-growth coaching session for 21 days. You won't regret it. Okay, it's really great. I mean, I changed a lot from it as well. I grew a lot from joining in. So yeah, if you guys are on my number 019-266-9869, as shown. So if there's anything you have questions about it, you may always come to me. All right. So have a good night, everyone. Bye bye.